Good morning, one and all. I hope you're all good. I hope you're all well. Welcome to Cockerel Doodle Doo, your morning Spurs show. There will be a fourth person joining us, which will be Amir. He's just running a little bit late, but I've got two very, very close friends and brothers of mine. First of all, I've got James. Big up, James. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm really well, guy, mate. Thanks. And morning all. Hope you're all well.
Always good to have you on the channel. And obviously, my little brother, my partner in crime. How are you, Ryan, brother?
Good, although I did wake up 20 minutes ago. So we're very good. And
Yes,
morning.
you told me you set an alarm. I didn't know you set it with just 20 minutes to go, so you'd be feeling. Is that a strong coffee you got?
Yeah, very strong.
Okay, so before we get into this, let's just say hello to everyone that's in the chat. Chris Agenbar, we will be speaking about this, the anniversary yesterday. Crossbone, Z Gaming, big up. Scott, good morning to you, sir. Active on Wembley, big up. Kookaburra, Danny Reese, good morning. Hollywood, Phil is in the building. Phil, woo, good morning, sir. Mark Cousins is in, as always. Colin Cross is here. Thank you very much indeed, mate. Yeah, you're a huge part of the family that is growing the channel, and everyone, thank you very much indeed for your support. Obviously, he's here, he's there, he's everywhere. He's in the comments as well. Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Bertie Hotspur. Good morning, Benjamin. Good morning, Rich. Good morning, Ian, Meth, and everyone. I'll be talking later. There's an extra show coming out today that I will be recording pretty much straight after this show with Ian, talking all things Ange Postecoglou. And he lives in Glasgow, diehard Spurs fan, but also watches Celtic religiously. So we're going to be doing a special show. We're going to pre-record it, get out this afternoon, about how Ange dealt with the derby in Glasgow, just a small little derby over there, and how he prepared for it and what it was like in the media. So it'll be a fascinating watch, and looking forward to spending the time with you. Ian, Driller, good morning. Andrew Gregory, good morning. Hypnotize, good morning. Wolves, Fee, good morning, sir. Kuva, big up, my brother. Chris 1962, Chris Hooray. Eddie, big up to you. Paul Brown, big up. SP Rocket, big up. Lisa, I've got to listen to your voice note and I will get back to you. Peter, and we've already got a super sticker in from Active on Wembley. Let me see what it is, as I always bring them up. Oh, it's a thank you. I don't know if you can see. There you go. Thank you. So, right. Let's get... Oh, and Dave, big up, Dave. Right. So, we're going to start speaking about a certain meeting that happened yesterday, and I will put a disclaimer out right now. I've seen a few things that have said that Daniel Levy and his quotes have been quite wildly misquoted in some aspects. So, being the channel that we are and the heat we get for being a certain way, I'm going to tread very, very carefully with what I think or we think Levy has said, in case we misquote him and then the vultures come out. It is going to be on Spurs Play later. It will be watched. And then we will do something. Ryan and I will do a show. You and me, Ryan, will go to town on the responses. But James, I'll come to you first. What was your thoughts on what has been said or what you've been hearing about yesterday?
To be honest, I could have probably told you what he was going to come out and say before we even went into the meeting, to be honest. I know they're saying a lot of stuff has been misquoted, but from what I have read, I've not seen a single word like win in anything. I haven't seen glory, win. All I've seen is sort of like funding the team, growing, now focus on the team. This will affect this, that could affect that, which is true. You know, like that. I think one of the things I saw was about League Cup. If not in the League Cup, would it affect your money? Well, of course, that's what you'd expect, but that doesn't mean there isn't no money. So I think we all kind of, even though we don't want to dig too deep into it, I think we all know what sort of stuff has been said. We've been seeing it for 20 odd years.
No, you're right. And before we go any further, before I ask you, Ryan, Milton, I've just seen your comment, mate. Sorry for your loss. I must admit, like I said, since I've been here, we had to. I came here in November, and I think it was February, we had to put my beloved Simba down, who was a cat that I was obsessed with. So I feel your pain, and it's always hard, mate. But condolences, and we're all here for you, my friends. We've got our final guest here, all the way back from Georgia, back in the Holy Land. Let me welcome Amir. How are you, brother? Good morning.
Morning all. Morning Ryan. Morning James. Morning everyone in the chat. I'm doing really fantastic. Back from holiday, nice and refreshed, and ready for Derby Day. Really.
Yeah, we'll get onto that a little bit later. But we were just having a little chat about the. I'll go to Ryan first, then I'll come to you. We're just talking about the meeting that happened yesterday with a selective amount of fans and a choice panel. Ryan, what have you made out of everything?
No comment.
No, you can say something.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to keep it short and sweet now. Kind of the quotes that have come out, whether true or not, kind of sums up everything that is Daniel Levy, if the quotes are true, which we will find out later. Saying stuff, as you said, James, nothing about glory, nothing about a plan being put in place, nothing on how we're going to succeed going forwards. He basically, allegedly, jumps on the bandwagon of Ange, trying to almost ride that crest of a wave, rather than him saying all the things he's done wrong. He's basically saying, well, I've got Ange, so be happy. So let's see what the actual quotes are. But the quotes that have come out, whether true or not, doesn't paint him in a good limelight, in my opinion.
Cool. And before I come to you about it, Amir, I just have to say, Colin Fitzgerald, I see you put this every single morning. I don't know if you've realised this is some kind of joke. Sava's not on this show. He's not even on this channel. So I don't get why you do that every morning, but fair play. Thank you for stopping by. Enjoy the show. Amir, obviously you were travelling last night, but you were fully aware that meeting was going on. Have you seen or heard anything, or what's your thoughts when you heard about this meeting?
Look, at the end of the day, to be honest with you, the way Levy's operated for the last 23 years, anything that happens now, it doesn't change anything, doesn't change my view, But when it comes down to the quotes, I haven't actually seen the quotes from the meeting, Dave. I don't know if you have them there, or if I haven't actually heard what's been said. But for me, nothing will be different. What Ryan's saying is spot on. There's no direction there. There's no 5-year plan to say we want to be here within a year, there within 2 years, and within 5 years we want to have a few trophies under our belts and bring back the glory days to our club. And that's where we should be aiming to get to. And surely, as the owner and chairman, surely he should be the one directing that. And laying out the plan. And obviously, he's brought Big Ange in, and Big Ange is off to a flying start. But we've seen flying starts before. And he got lucky with Pochettino.
Yep.
So eventually, after you fire so many managers, you are going to get lucky, once in a while and find a diamond in the rough like Ange. So for me, nothing changes there, David, to be honest.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
If, say, for example, the statement said Daniel Levy come out and said, right, we're aiming to win the league in the next 3 years. We're going to go for the FA Cup. Would you believe it anyway, or would you just think it's scripted?
It's a good question.
I'd say go and prove it.
Yeah, that's for me. Yeah. The damage is so far that I wouldn't even believe it anyway. So not that the meetings are irrelevant, but even if they heard and he says all the stuff that he has said, until he starts proving it, I don't believe it anyway.
No, I'm with you, James. I'm with you on that, James.
Okay, do you know what?
Just in the pudding. the pudding.
Sorry, I'm prepared to actually speak a bit now because I've just seen the Spurs Watch, who is someone I know personally, has started putting things out there, and I know this man well enough to know he wouldn't put stuff out if it had been misquoted. So, based on what he's put, let's go through a few of the things, and I'm going to pick only a few. So let me just have a look. So, Daniel Levy on the atmosphere under Ange. Simply, we've got our Tottenham back. We are seeing the football we used to see, and that's all we want. All staff at the club, playing, non-playing, we're in it together, and there's a different atmosphere around the place. Amir, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, there is a different atmosphere in the place, but it's got nothing to do with him, is it? It's all to do with Big Ange and the transformation that he is, brought upon our club. It's got absolutely nothing to do with anything that Levy's done. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Ange changed the style of football. We're playing attacking football. We're on the front foot. We're buzzing. Fans. I mean, I literally after that Sheffield match, I just couldn't wait to see us again. I'm literally buzzing for Sunday. And yeah, it's got bugger all to do with Levy, and for him to be riding the wave of it's transformed and all that. Yeah, mate, it's transformed, but not because of you.
There you go, James.
Wouldn't we have had a good feel factor if he didn't sack Mourinho before a cup final? Wouldn't we have had a better feeling if he actually backed Mourinho with the signings that he wanted, and then we kicked on from that moment? Wouldn't there have been a good feeling if he backed Poch after 2-3 years without spending and then buying average players? Again, he's done what he'd done before and struck gold after digging for 20 years with plastic shovels. So I don't even know what to say. Of course, you're going to hit gold eventually, but it's one of those things. This could all end tits up if he doesn't continue this. Like for me, there are players that are going to need to be replaced. There's more deadwood that needs to go out, and until that's done, that good feeling will be short-lived.
Correct. And you know what? I was saving a different question for Ryan, and of course he's had to turn his camera off. So I will wait for him to come back. Listen, I agree with what both you just said. Listen, he's had it so many times. Oh, you're back. I can stop waffling now and trying to fill air. I like the way you muted your camera. Muted your camera? Okay, I've just shot myself in the foot with what I was going to say, so we'll forget that. Right, Ryan, I've got a nice tricky question for you to answer, and you can go full hog, just watch your language at this time. Daniel Levy on past years. I can't believe I'm even reading this. I want to win as much as anyone else. The frustration of not winning and the pressure from some players and a large part of the fan base impacted me. It was a lot of pressure. We came so close with Poch, and we changed strategy and hired win now managers. It didn't work. Wrong hires. So maybe it will take longer. Maybe we need this strategy, and that's why I hired Ange.
One question I would ask after he quoted that, allegedly, who hired the wrong hires? Who completely changed the strategy and didn't then back the strategy and not give the win now managers the win now players?
I would gain a lot of respect for him if in the video there's a sorry after that. If there is no sorry, I made a mistake after that, then the guy's just a scumbag. He's saying, I changed everything, nothing works, so I'm going back to what else would work. Like, what else we had a bit of success, if you call that success. Like, there should have been a sorry on that. Like, I made the wrong decision, sorry. Like, we've now turned a direction or something. Admit that it was his fault that happened in the first place.
The thing I find funny is he wanted the win now managers. The first win now manager he hires gets us to a cup final, and he sacks him.
Gives him the boot.
Him hiring wing now managers and sacks him because we're in a cup final, but also he sacks him because we ain't going to get top 4, which tells you he doesn't care about the win now.
Yeah, well, the one I really want to talk about, and I haven't got I can't remember, Ryan, I think you may have it somewhere, is when he spoke about the Super League. This one, I'm concerned that this may be misquoted, but he basically has turned around and didn't apologise. He said, but what he did say is the Premier League need to authorise us leaving the Super League. And so far, they haven't. Words to that effect, Ryan, if you can find it, because I am trying to find it and I just can't seem to find it. But I know there was a big talk about the Super League. Now, he's still the only person that hasn't apologised for it. You've got it. Go and read it.
We can't leave the Premier League without permission of the Premier League.
Super League.
We can't leave the Premier League without permission. Oh, yeah. We can't leave the Premier League without the permission of the Premier League. We will always do what is best for the club. We had the discussions and we felt it was not the best intention of the club.
So what I still don't understand. There's no apology. He's the only English chairman in the Premier League out of that 6 that knew how Football League and the pyramid system and what it means to us. And now all of a sudden it's the Premier League who didn't want us to leave or do this because it would damage the Premier League. We need to get their approval. Does anyone believe that?
I think that the Super League already exists and it is called the Premier League.
That's the point.
Because the money that the Premier League have nowadays, no one else is even, I wouldn't even say 1/10. The richest club in Spain don't have half the money of the likes of City, Newcastle, and so on and so on. So for me, there already is a Super League. And I think until the official documents and stuff come out, I think everyone jumped on a bandwagon that no one really knew anything about. Because there was sort of talks, I mean, there was loads of talks, but what I read, there was a lot of talks saying it was going to replace the Champions League. So it was just going to be a like-for-like swap with the Champions League. But again, I think it's such a hard one to talk about because no one really knows what it actually means.
It's true, and it's true. And do you know what? Ron just said it right. We're all aboard the Ange train. Should we have some Postecoglou comments?
Yeah, mate.
So we have some fun and put a smile on our face and talk positively. Let's do. They will, like I said, we will be reviewing this thing in full later. Maybe not today, but tomorrow. But here we go. Ange Postecoglou on the North London derby. We know it's a big game, a massive test, especially away from home. We are excited by it. We will go there and play our football and see where it takes us. Now, Amir, I'll come to you first. For me, that final sentence, we're going to play our football, not let's sit back and wait for them and try and play on the counter. Let's not go there. We know that they'll be the favourites and sit back and try and see what we can do. I firmly believe he's going there and we're going to see exactly what we've seen every single game of the season. And one of the things I will say that I've seen from him every single game of the season, I think it's huge and I don't think it's been spoken about enough. Every single game, he's used all 5 subs. Every single game. So there's been squad rotation. There's been squad rotation, keeping players happy. We've only got 1 game a week, but the players aren't. Even players like Maddison, who have been, and Bissoumas have been taken off. Maybe not, but he's doing everything. I mean, how refreshing is it to hear that from a manager the week or the days now before an NLD?
Do you know what, Dave? It's just a breath of fresh air, really. That's the way I describe it from what we've been through for the last 3-4 years. To know that we're going into that match, we're not going to sit back. We're going to go at them. We're going to put them under pressure. We're going to chase that ball. We're going to hunt it down. Basuma's going to be hunting them down in the middle. I haven't been this pumped for a game of football for a very, very, very long time. And the fact is, we're on the same points. We go there, we get a victory. It really shows the rest of the league where we're at, and people better be worried. So it's time for us to put the foot on the neck for me. Go over to the Emirates, absolutely smash them. And to be honest, you know, if you had asked me that 6 months ago, I would have probably laughed and no chance. But under Big Ange, you know, it's well within our right to dream, and I can see us going over there and turning them over. So I'm absolutely buzzing for it. Absolutely buzzing for it. And you know, I take my hat off to the transformation that Big Ange has done. I thought maybe, you know, we would see the kind of football 6 months, 9 months into his tenure, but it's been since day one, which is
Yep.
phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Correct. James, how refreshing is it for you to hear your manager speaking like that days before an NLD?
Yeah, amazing. One of my biggest criticisms is when people, and there's a lot of YouTubers, to be fair, that are so flip-flopped, it's unbelievable. And they say, oh, you can't just go all guns out against Arsenal because you'll get beat 3-0. Yeah, you might get beat 3-0, and I expect to get 3-0, to beat 3-0. But if it does click and you pin them back, you're going to beat them 3-0. And it also, again, it just gives me more love for Ange. If he goes there and plays an attacking brand of football away from home to a place where you don't win, that's madness. That's my manager. If he goes there and plays Ange football and the way he wants to play football, then I'm all in.
There you go, Ryan. What's your thoughts, brother? I mean, obviously, we've heard. I've got to just say this: we've heard managers going, yeah, it's a big game, it's the derby, yeah, and it's rinse and repeat. It's rinse and repeat, and then we get there, and we know, or you know, personally being there, all three, the last ones, it's been woeful. It's been woeful under the previous three managers, and was most times under Poch as well. So it's not a good place. But to hear the build-up and this manager, it is his first North London derby, but you believe what this man is saying, don't you?
That he'll go there and attack from minute one? Yeah, probably. But if we lose, I won't give a monkey's about Ange Ball. I'll
Nearly.
Too early yet. All I care about is winning. I don't care how we play, especially at that ground. I just want to win. It could be the most ugliest game of football. Like, he can try and play Ange Ball and it might not click on the day, and we get a set piece in the 85th minute and it comes off Romero's backside and it goes in and we win 1-0. We'll all say, oh, are we all going to come out and say, oh, it wasn't quite Ange Ball? We're going to be buzzing with 1-0.
No, I think the way you've got to look at this as well, Ryan, I think we can all honestly, hand on heart, say that, let's just say we lose this NLD. Let's just say it's Sunday afternoon. We've just come out, we've lost. I don't think any of us will be denying that Spurs put a show on, and it weren't for lack of commitment. It weren't for lack of desire. That we will go. So here we go. Another Ange quote. Ange Postecoglou on what's going on right now. We are at the beginning of what we are trying to build. We have had a positive transfer window, and we need to keep building the squad. It was never going to happen in one window. I had more targets, but I made it hard for Daniel as I had a few targets. I don't want any player. I want the right players. I want European football, Champions League. To do that, we need a bigger squad. If we had Champions League this week, we'd struggle, but that was always been the plan. The plan is to grow the squad. Go on, Ryan, you go first.
Obviously, yesterday I was on after the Fans Forum. Someone went live on a Twitter space, and obviously I joined them. And this is one of the quotes I saw, and this is one of the quotes I wanted to talk about. And it is similar to kind of Conte quote, if you take it like that, in terms of right now, our squad is not good enough to compete in the Champions League. And then 3 days later, play in the Premier League. Very similar to what Conte was saying when we had AC Milan, or we are not at that level to be able to compete on all fronts, which is what he's saying now. And everyone in the fan base said that Conte was out of his mind. We can compete. Well, now Ange saying it. Everyone's saying, yeah, you're right. I mean, it's pretty much a direct quote from Conte. I've known we can't compete on all fronts because we don't have the squad. We didn't have the squad under Podge. Yes, we got to a Champions League final, but from January onwards, our form dipped in the league and we scraped top four. So that should show you. So based on going the full length of the season, our squad isn't big enough. And you probably need about 5 or 6 more top quality players to bring that level of the squad up.
Okay. Amir, what's your thoughts on the comments?
Look, I think he's spot on. To be honest, you know, we all knew that he won't get everyone he wants in and out in one window. You know, it's going to take probably 3, I'd say, maybe even 4 for him to be where he wants. The fact that he's focusing on the youth as well, you know, our under 21's doing really well, and our loanees going out, and hopefully they'll come back into the team and do well next season. So he's building something here. And you know, the relationship between the fan base and the manager is reciprocal. So, you know, he's showing us the football that we want to see and getting the results and speaking the way, you know, I love the way he speaks to the fans and to the media, and the fans are giving that back to him, that love back to Ange. So I'm happy to see who he brings in Jan. It looks like, you know, the business we've done in the summer, he's got exactly the players he wanted. I was a bit nervous about, you know, some of the signings. Brennan Johnson, I was a bit nervous about, but, you know, he looks like absolutely fantastic and he suits the Ange system down to a T. Even Maddison, I was a bit nervous about, to be honest with you. And look how well he's just changed a lot of things about the way we play, and has really managed to pick locks in that low block kind of, you know, tricky defenders, defensive systems. So yeah, I couldn't agree more with what he's saying. You know, I don't think right now, if you stuck our team there in the Champions League, we would be competing and getting out of a group. Not sure. So I'm agreeing with what he's saying.
James?
I actually disagree. Because what he said there is we have a small squad. Well, if you take those loan signings back at like we're going to at the end of the season, that squad becomes a massive squad again. So we have actually got a really big squad. We've just got a terrible squad, good first 11. So for me, we actually have a big squad, and he's done everything he can to get as much deadwood out of his team, whether that is Dyer not being involved or vice versa. He's done what he can. The rest has to fall on Levy now. There's more than 25 players there, so it's not a small squad. It's a crap squad and a good first 11.
You're right. And do you know what? We're going to get into now. We're going to move away from the forum because we mentioned, or there he mentioned transfers, and we've just been discussing it now. My brothers, or our brothers at We Are Tottenham TV, did their normal Tottenham Hotspur update. And one transfer rumour that seems to be gathering pace, and there was rumours about it during the summer, is there may be genuine interest in Jadon Sancho. Now, I'll go around the panel and see what they think of it, and everyone in the comments put what you think. Now, this just goes to show, if this is true, and the way I've seen fans acting about this, it just goes to show Jadon Sancho, or so let's talk Harry Kane very quickly. Harry Kane goes to Bayern Munich. Why does Harry Kane want to go there? It's a shitter league. It's a farmers' league. What's the point of going there? It won't be, if he wins the league, it's easy. It won't be tested. Spurs interest in Jadon Sancho. Spurs fans, yes, we must get him. He was really, really good at Dortmund. You can't make it make sense. So to bring a player in who had 2 good years at Germany, it's a must. But then when a player goes to Germany, it's a crap league. But but also we have to remember, he also had disciplinary issues at Dortmund, and now we know what's going on at United. James, what's your thoughts on the possibility and the rumours? Like I said, it is rumours. And again, with Big Ange, if Big Ange wants him, blah, 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 I just don't see, especially with Brennan Johnson coming in, what the point of this transfer is.
I actually hate this idea. I think this is the biggest stupid thing. I think this is lazy journalism, to be honest. Or I'm praying that it's lazy German journalism. I don't see what he brings that Kulu doesn't. He's not quick. He's got good feet. Yeah, Kulu's got good feet. I just don't get it. His attitude absolutely stinks. This is the second club now that have said he doesn't train very well and he's been pushed out of United. And United don't have a right winger. They've got issues with Anthony and so on and so on. So for him not even to be getting in that squad now, for me, he's the complete opposite to Brennan Johnson. I was screaming from the hills for Brennan Johnson because he's young, he's hungry, he wants to be here, he wants to play for Tottenham. Jadon Sancho is going to come in thinking he's top dog again, and I'm Jadon Sancho, and we're trying to get rid of those. I don't want him anywhere near, to be honest. Don't care how good he is. Same as if it was Ronaldo, I wouldn't want him in with a crap attitude.
Okay, and before I come to Ryan and me, I just want to address something. Oliver, welcome to come to the show. Everyone is welcome. People that are Levy in or Levy not out, people that are Levy out. But if you're going to try and quote me and Ryan, can you please try and get it right? First of all, are we going to win the treble? Can we win the treble? No. Are we going to win the Premier League? I hate these questions. Oh, if we win the Premier League. But we're not. We're nowhere near it. And people, just because we've had 5 wins, think all of a sudden, oh, we could go in for a title push. I have waited 23 years. I've been Levy out for 15 and seen this constantly happen over and over again with managers. I've seen it happen with directors of football. So if you think just because we started well in 5 games, all of a sudden everything hits reset and we all start again, the answer is no, it does not. So what happens if this goes wrong? What happens if it goes wrong again? So you want to come out and quote me and Ryan, get the right quotes. And if you're going to quote, we win the treble, when we can only win the double this year, which we won't win, hopefully we'll win the FA Cup. We won't win the league. Does one trophy make up for everything? No, it's a start. Keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. We all want Tottenham to win. We all want Tottenham to be winning trophies. That's why we protest, because we want better for our football club. So don't come and say, oh, even if we win the treble, that me and Ryan want Levy out. We can't do it. But back to you, Ryan. Jadon Sancho.
Non-starter, but I'd love him at Spurs. I
Why?
generally do think. I think you've seen it with Ten Hag. Ten Hag has absolute no man management.
I'd say Leslie, fair play. Fair play, Leslie. Fair play. Fair play, Leslie. I'd say me and Leslie have had our differences before, but there's a mutual respect, and that, Leslie, fair play to you. Fair play. Go on, Ryan. Sorry, brother.
Ten Hag for me is a horrible man manager. You've seen it with Ronaldo. You've seen it with Harry Maguire. You've seen it now with Jadon Sancho and a few others. I mean, the reason why I say it's a non-starter is he's on 350 grand a week. So Jadon Sancho would have to drop his wages dramatically, which if he does, would show that he's more focused on football than he is money. So already that's a good positive sign. The only other issue is we're just stacked. We are stacked on the left wing and the right wing at the moment. So, I mean, Perisic could be heading out the door in January. If all reports are correct, with the young centre-back coming our way, it means Perisic will be going in the opposite direction in January. Spurs signing Sancho, I would say it would be a really good signing if we get, because I think he would get his head down under Ange. He would fight for his place, and I do see a player in there. You don't play for Manchester United, you don't play for Dortmund when you're 17, 18. And you got to remember, he went there as a young kid, same as Bellingham. And they don't normally get their young signings wrong come in the long run. So I do think it would be a good signing, just not now because we're stacked. But he would have to drop his wages.
Yeah, well, there is. I mean, Amir, how do you feel?
So I think he's got a lot of talent in those legs. I just have to side with James on this one. I think bringing someone like that into a harmonious dressing room that Ange has managed to culture at our club will just cause havoc. And I think Adrian Chia's got a super chat. That basically sums it up for me. What he said. We already have a misfit in Ndombele, so just no to Sancho. Yeah, pretty much sums it up. I think hit the nail on the head with that.
Adrian has hit it on the head. Listen, Oliver, we can keep going through this. My feelings and Ryan's feelings and everyone that is Levy out. It's if we back the manager. If the
Shouldn't
manager
take 2 or 3 years to build something.
Exactly.
But this is asking us to change our opinion on luck or something that may happen.
On hearsay.
I think the lottery is gambling, so I won't do it because of previous issues. But if I was to win it, I'd change my opinion. If I won the Euro, I'd be like, yeah, it's a great idea. But you're asking us to change our opinion on something that we've had proof of 23 years. That's just a stupid opinion. It's just stupid. Prove it first. Win the treble, and then you go on and win the FA Cup, and then you win something else.
It would have to take me and Brian. It would have to take minimum 5 years with consistently backing the manager with the players he wants, and continued success on the pitch. Which by the way, he's literally said in his quote, because he's saying he's jumping on the bandwagon of Ange. He's part of it. So if we don't win on the pitch, it's down to Levy. Which we already know.
If he did what United do, so if he said to Ange, who do you want? You want that centre back, that centre midfield? Okay, there you go. Next season, who do you want? There you go. Basically, if he did that for 3 years for me, that's 6 transfer windows of buying number one target after number one target, or as good as, and Ange doesn't win nothing. I will then be like, well, Levy's done everything he can, and then you start to build respect. You're like, okay, I expect to win, but he's actually done everything he can. The rest of the problem is elsewhere. But we haven't had that 3 consistent years, 6 transfer windows or 8 transfer windows, even 2 transfer windows, to be honest. So how can I change my opinion on wishing?
I'm a bit longer than that. I'm 5 years. And when I say 5 years, I don't mean backing him and getting players like Jadon Sancho. I mean, if Ange Postecoglou says he wants someone from Japan, Australia, the Middle East, America, North America, anywhere in the world, if he says he wants him, you go get him. I don't expect him to get every single target. I don't expect that. That's not the way this works. But 5 years of constantly listening to a manager. If Scott Munn comes in and does do some work, he's listened to, and we show a genuine desire to win things on the football pitch for 5 years straight, then I start questioning my beliefs and saying, do you know what? He's shown me over a consistent amount of time. But like we've all said, we go through this time and time and time again. And what do I think is more likely? That Levy's going to back Ange for 5 years, or that something will go tits up and we'll be back here having this discussion again? Well, I'm afraid to say it's the latter.
Unfortunately, the only reason we'll be back here again is because, no disrespect to that guy, but fans like that, they'll go, oh, but Levy has brought a few players in. We have tried. It's now Ange's fault. And then we'll turn on Ange, and then everyone will turn on Ange, and then we'll start again. And then it'll be, I mean, let's face it, these 3 managers in the last 3 years or 4 years, whatever, 4 managers in 3 years, that's the reason Ange has now got to get rid of about 10 players, because every player is brought in 2 or 3 for each manager. Now we've got to get rid of 10. So it doesn't make sense.
There you go. And do you know what? Let's talk. Obviously, we've been talking about North London Derby. We're going to save the last bit about Jimmy till the end, because that man deserves respect. Let's have it, because obviously James and Amir haven't spoken to you properly or on here properly. NLD. Do you know what? Let's have this one discussion, because I've seen this seems to be the biggest talking point right now. I see everyone talking about the team selection. And I see the biggest discussion I see right now is, do you play Porro or Emerson at right back?
Porro, no questions asked. Porro.
So go for it, and tell us about what you're thinking about Sunday.
For me, Porro has to start because of the pace that they have on that left side. Richarlison, we saw him one-on-one with pace and he got skimmed. Even though I probably think he's a better defender, he doesn't offer as much on the ball and no pace. So for me, 100% it would be Porro.
There you go. Amir, yourself, brother.
I'd stick with Porro. I'm with James on that, but I don't think that's the biggest question in terms of team selection. I think it's does Richie come in or not? You know, do you roll with the confidence and stick him in that, you know, first 11 and give us, you know, that kind of lethal weapon when those balls are coming in, those corners are coming in, the crosses are coming in. Because when Sonny's up there, it's a completely different threat. It's still a threat, but it's a different threat. So for me, that's the big one, and I'm not sure what I would do, to be honest.
Okay, we'll discuss that in a bit. But your choice right now, Porro or Emerson?
Yeah, Porro, 100%.
Okay.
Porro.
Ryan?
100%.
Sorry, Nick. Porro.
Yeah,
Sorry, Nick. Porro.
I'm completely with you as well. Everyone's saying about he's better defensive, and for Arsenal, we've got to watch him on the counter. I don't even know why that's a. If this was last season, I probably would have said it. I probably would have said Emerson. But right now, Arsenal will be coming up, and if Zinchenko is against him, that battle, I think, is going to be fascinating. And Porro's passing range, well, it's a different world compared to Emerson. So I think that back four has got to. You got to remember, we've won the 4 games where he's been right back. It's been pretty much the same team. They've done the job apart from Richie. So you brought Richie up, Amir. Let's get into this. I mean, I can see everyone else. And actually, before we do that, I saw Leslie put a comment in. And before I forget Leslie's comment, where was it? Here we go. Do we start Solomon or Johnson on the left-hand side? James?
So this kind of all interacts for me with the Richarlison situation, because do you play Richie or Son? I think Saliba.
Okay, well, let's do it this way. Let's do it this way, James. We'll go round, and everyone in the comments as well, put in the front 3 that you would start if you were Ange on Sunday.
So yeah, for me, I mean, it pains me to say it, but I think Saliba is immense. He really is a good defender. He's quick, strong, tall, big. And that's the kind of guy I don't fancy Son against, if I'm honest. I think he's a step ahead of Son, and Son's main asset is going to be in behind. So I think Richarlison probably suits the system more if we was to go against Arsenal, but I wouldn't play Son left wing either. I would play Solomon or Johnson for the pace in behind, because if we do break, they have Ben White right back, and you do want Solomon or Johnson, for me, in behind Ben White, because if they get through, he's never going to catch either of them. So I think that they'll play Son up front, because I think he'll have to play because he's the captain. But really, I would probably go Solomon, Richarlison, Kulu.
Solomon, Richarlison. Okay, Ryan?
Solomon, Son, Decky. And Solomon's
Okay,
going to
why?
back Manor on Udogie.
Come on.
So why are you picking that?
I think Son can't play in a low block, so this game will suit him because Arsenal will be pressing high. There'll be a high line, and Son could even drift onto the left, and you could push Solomon through the middle. You know, everything sort of interchanges with a free-flowing front 3. So Son could drift onto the left. I think Richie's a great impact player from the bench. We've seen that now. If we need someone to just chuck into the box, he's good for that. I think Johnson, he's just come off the bench for 10 minutes, 15 minutes against Sheffield United, the North London derby. It's completely kettle of fish. I mean, he's had East Midland derbies with Leicester, you know, it's nothing compared to this. So I wouldn't chuck Johnson in. I just think we go with the tried and tested what's gotten us the points so far this season, which is Solomon on the left, Son through the middle, and Kudu on the right.
Okay, Amir, before I'm going to get you're next, but I've got to say to people, how wonderful is it to have these questions thrown at us with the options we have? Do you know what that you have to give the club credit for? No matter where you want to put the credit, whatever. To say last season where it was Son, Richarlison, Kane, Decky, and three of them had to play, and one of them was injured for most of it. Oh, and Perisic, but we played him in the wrong position. To now have this wealth. Oh, you had Lucas Moura, obviously, but that he was hardly being mentioned.
Yeah.
But to have this kind of depth now in that position is something that you have to give the club credit for. And I will get, and like I said, I will give credit to the club where it's deserved. And to have these options, whether it's been years in coming or whatever, you can't deny the option. Listen to the discussion we're having right now. It's a North London derby, and we're talking about 5 or 6 forwards that could possibly play and what combinations. And that has to. I can't be here and slate the club for everything that they've done wrong. And then listen, I still think there's more to be done. Still feel the same way, but where we're sitting right now in the forward line compared to where we've been before, I think it's been well done by the club. But Amir, what's your thoughts on the front three?
Well, I completely agree with you that it's really refreshing to have so many options up there and feel confident that all of those players, that even if they're on the bench, they can come in and really have an impact. With regards to who I'd start, I'm with Ryan. I think you stick with what you know, you stick with what you've got. You play Solomon on the left, Sonny up top, and Decky on the right. And then, if we need, and we probably will, the impact subs, Johnson's pace coming off the bench, is always going to cause trouble to weak legs. And Richie, he offers something different. So I think it's a great option to have off the bench. And I'm just hoping that front three, they're starting to click, the connections are there. Solomon and Sonny's understanding is building. Decky's confidence is flying high after that goal that he scored. And I just think you stick with what you know, and hopefully that will work for us.
Can I ask you a question, Amir?
Yeah, cool.
So with Solomon, for me, obviously, I've only seen him play like 3 or 4 games. So my opinion is quite like, I only judge player on what I've seen, if that makes sense. So from what I've seen, on the ball, turn of pace, low centre of gravity, reminds me of like Hazard, that sort of quick, nippy, happy to beat a man. My one criticism of him, and it is quite a big criticism, is his end product so far has been woeful. Even just like 3-4 yard passes, he's given the ball away a lot. Is that normal? I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but is he normally like that, or do you think it's a confidence building thing? Obviously, you've seen him a lot more than me.
Yeah, it's a confidence building thing. When I've seen him play throughout the years, Shakhtar for our national team, he can get down on himself if he misses an easy chance or he places like you said, a 10-yard pass, a little bit too much weight. He can kind of get down on himself, and then the media lump it on him here, and it kind of, you can see it affected. But what I've seen since he's come in, he's those 2 assists that he got, that's something that he's bringing into his game and he's working on. So I'm seeing the improvement already from just being under Ange. And when it comes down to end product, so we can be expecting this guy to get goals. He knows where the goal is. He's got a great shot on him, and he can finish. He can finish. So it's only a matter of time before he starts banging them in. I reckon, and he's got the right attitude, which is why when we got him, I was so delighted, because this guy just loves football, wants to work as hard as he can, wants to improve his game,
Yeah.
and Ange, I can already see it, to be honest with you. Those 2 assists,
Yeah,
that
yeah. I mean, for me, that's why. To be honest, I'm very like black and white. I only say what I see. Like I call I think what Ange done is a miracle, but I think he messed up when it comes to Fulham. So I'll say it. Same with
I,
Solomon. I think Burnley, he was fantastic, but even in
Right.
that Burnley game, he did give the ball away a lot. So
he did.
that's why I'm just sort of, I'd rather. I mean, you know more than me, so that's why I wanted to ask. That's
But
all.
you know what it is as well. You know what it is as well, James, is he's giving away, but rather than going backwards, sideways, whatever, we're trying to be adventurous. We're trying to
Of course,
do the
of
right thing,
course.
which is what we want to see. So for me, the front line stays the same. You look at the impact that the front three had when he made those subs, and then moved Kulu into the centre. Again, it goes to options. It goes down to options that we have, and this isn't good. You got to remember, Son was very inactive against Sheffield United. It weren't the game for him because of
No.
the way they played.
Yeah,
Arsenal are not that team. Arsenal are the
Yeah.
opposite. Arsenal will come out and play, and that's where some will thrive. But then we have the option, should we need it, and Richarlison will be brimming and busting with confidence to get on that pitch and make an impact. And if he can come off the bench and get a goal there, then his confidence goes sky high rather than putting him on and then whatever. So the option's there for him. But you know what? I put a tweet out before we talk about Jimmy Greaves. I put a tweet out yesterday, and let's see what people in the chat say. I put a tweet out saying, do you know what? When I think about this game, and if I had to say, if one man turns up out of our starting 11, if this man turns up, we win the game. Because if this man turns up, I don't think Arsenal can live with him. My answer, without even a shadow of a doubt, is East Basuma.
yeah.
If that
Mine's
man turns
different.
up, you've just got to look. I don't care what people say about how good Richarlison was, which he was. If people want to see how important this man is, just go watch the last 12 minutes against Sheffield United, where this guy was shattered and had been inactive for a bit. If there is not a man that single-handedly got the team going and said, right, we ain't losing, it was Yves Bissouma. And I think right now he is unplayable. He is absolutely unplayable. We'll go around James, Ryan, Amir. So James, if you
For
said
me,
you've got someone different, who are you choosing?
yeah, for me, there's only one guy that's going to win this game for us, and that's Romero. I think
Okay,
that
I thought
if
you were going to go somewhere else.
the
I know where
reason
Ryan's
for that
going.
is, I think Nketiah
No.
is not great. I think Jesus is injury prone, and I think Romero is going to go in straight away the first 5 minutes and he'll kick all of them. He'll make a point and kick every single one of them. And I think from that point of view, they'll think, hold on, I don't know if I fancy this. So I think it could be made won or lost from Romero.
There we go. Listen, if you're not going to say who I think you're going to say, I'll be dumbfounded. Who are you going to say?
Destiny Udogie.
Okay. I love that, man. I love that. But why are you going? See, George has come up with who you knew. I thought you were going to say.
I know you thought I was going to say, but Destiny Udogie. I don't even still don't know how to pronounce his
Just call
name.
him Destiny. It's so much easier.
Udogie, however you want to pronounce it. Destiny. Him and Saka is going to be the battle of the weekend. So he's going to have to win that battle. You have to win your battles in these types of games if you're going to come out on top.
I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans slating Saka this season, saying that he hasn't been as good as he has been the last few years. So
none of them have. They've been scraping wins.
True.
I say to Brian that Arsenal are very similar to us last season, which were grinding out wins, and they were always saying, "Wait till we click, wait till we click, wait till we click," and it didn't click. Nothing clicked. So it's very similar to what we were at the start of last season, where we were grinding out results, grinding out draws, grinding out wins, and without putting on a show and winning comfortably and a style of play. It's So, and this is the kind of game that you think this is the game where Arsenal might it's the game they probably needed. You know, Spurs coming to town. So I think you'll see Saka try and turn it on. He knows what the game means, being an Arsenal boy. So Destiny versus Saka is the battle. That's going to have to win the game. Plenty of people will say the midfield battle of Bissouma and Sarr against Rice and whoever else is in there. But I think that left hand side for us, their right hand side, is going to be where the battle's won. And Vicario is also special mention to him. He has to have a very good game as well.
Big Vic.
You just nicked my one, Ryan. You just nicked him. I was gonna say.
Those were the two. So
go on, Amir.
You take it away with Vicario.
Oh yeah. Well, look, I think all the guys you were all talking about. Yeah.
I have to say, Amir, before you go there, you got above you. You've got the Jane Maddison, president of the fan club, and above me, you've got the chairman, owner, and everything of the Vicario fan club. So I've got one man that's very, very happy above me that is happy that you're about to talk about this guy. So fire away.
Okay. So yeah, for me, you know, Big Vic, I think he's gonna be vital for us getting anything out of this game and doing what we want, because they are gonna get shots off, and we do know that they have a few decent, you know, players that can whip a ball in from outside the box, your Trossards, your Odegaards, you know, these guys. So Big Vic is going to have to be in tip-top shape come Sunday for us. And I really think, you know, he's shown us. People are really worried about him coming in, right? Everyone wanted Raya and this and that. But since he's come in, he's just shown that he's not only is he a fantastic keeper, but he's also a leader. Have you seen the way he's screaming and shouting there and just going absolutely bananas? And I just love it. And I think it's about time, you know, we got a man of the match performance out of Big Vic, and all the fans show him a lot of love, because I've fallen for the guy. As much as I've fallen for Destiny, I've fallen for Big Vic as well.
Can I just say my dream scenario for Sunday is Vicario has an absolute worldy man of the match performance and Raya throws the ball in the back of the net. Just so I can go to this man right here.
No, listen, mate.
Go, what did I tell you about Big Vic?
Listen, mate. Before you start running your mouth, as you tend to do so, I have mentioned it on many a time, and the man above me will know because I quote him every single time. I've come out and said I got it categorically wrong. Categorically, I got it wrong, and I admit when I'm wrong. Big Vicario has been an inspired signing. I came out, I fell for the trap. You and me took my sister's dog for a walk, and you and me had the most heated argument we've ever had. And I was not in a good place that day because of a certain thing that was going on Twitter. And I was ready to stop something. Oh, mate, I'd never lay my hands on mine ever, but I was not in a good place, and I was going to smash something. And we had this discussion, and since he's started playing for us, even in the friendlies, I've turned around on every opportunity I have to say I got it wildly wrong with Vicario. I am always a man of my word and will say when I got it wrong. Big Vic has been absolutely incredible. Incredible. And do you know what, in all honesty, James? I think he's already had a man of the match award. He just didn't get it, which was the Man U game.
1,000,000%. I mean, I live far away now due to like my son playing football and things. So I'm not in the Tottenham area anymore. But we don't get the chance to go to many games, to be fair. So we went to Shakhtar, and he didn't shut up for one. I heard him over everybody. And even when the ball was down the opposite end, if you actually watch him, mate, he's on his toes, jumping side to side as if they're sort of on the attack. Like, he's so on the ball. And I think that's what we can say one of the big issues with Hugo is that a little lapse on concentration and he'll kick the ball out. Or this guy is so focused. And if I'll make a statement here. If that happens, what Ryan just said, so Vic gets man of the match and Raya scores an own goal, I will go to my local sports shop, not the Spurs shop, the local sports shop, and on Monday I'll come on the show with my Big Vic shirt
Mate, that's like saying that was like Ollie saying that we're going to win the treble. That's a really it's a really listen. I can you imagine the odds on man of the match being Vicario and Raya to score an own goal. That's if Raya starts. That's if Raya starts. We don't know if that was for Champions League. Blah blah blah. But listen, if you ask me now if I could go back in time and undo that transfer and have David Raya, not in a million years. Not in a million years.
Yes,
but you know what? Not, mate, I got it wrong and I'll
He's one
put
of
my
us.
hand up. But listen, the one thing I have to say, and again, I said it on Ben's stream yesterday, Ben Kaufman's Coffee House. Everyone go check him out. And again, I gave credit to the club for something they did yesterday, which they forgot to do with Bill Nicholson. And on the day of Bill Nicholson's passing, rather than honour it, mention it, put something on the screen, a minute applause, whatever, they decided to have Tyson Fury and talk about that House of Dragons show or whatever that bloody thing was called and have the actor talking about it. For the first time in a long time yesterday, I saw they actually put out something in memorial or in remembrance of. And obviously 2 years ago today, or yesterday, which would have been my first time ever going to the Spurs Stadium to watch us lose 3-0 to Chelsea, the greatest striker we've had, and I do include Harry Kane in that. Listen, Harry Kane's got the record, but the Jimmy Greaves, if you listen to people and everything, he passed away. I mean, there's a lot of people like us that would only heard stories and seen him, but I think there's a few people in the chats that would have been able to witness this great man, and it's good to see the club. But what a man he was, hey Amir. What a player.
I just wish I was, alive during that generation just to see them goals, just that predatory way he was in front of goal. He could just bang them in left, right, and centre any way you like. And I think, he revolutionised that position really. So, Greavesy, like that commenter there says, he was the absolute boss. And I'm sure, the fans that were there to see it, they enjoyed every minute of it.
Completely agree. I mean, Ryan, obviously, we joke about that you weren't even alive for Toy Story 1 or Toy Story 2. So talking about Jimmy Greaves is a bit ridiculous, but obviously you must have seen, with all your love for Spurs and everything, seen videos and clips or heard people like Graham talking about the great man. What have you seen of him, or what do you reckon?
Not seen a lot of him, to be honest. Not live anyway. Haven't even seen that many clips. It's just
correct.
I've been told about it through Graham, as we all know, through my grandpa, who's sadly no longer with us, about the great Jimmy Greaves. A lot they say he's the best that they've ever seen, based on the fact, obviously, just the pictures, the footballs and everything, the style of play, the fact that the defender could give you a right lumping tackle and you just have to get back up and carry on playing. So in this generation, they always say, Kane's got 280, but Greaves got 266 back then, which is basically the equivalent of 400.
Didn't he get like 300 for Chelsea or something mad like that as well? I don't know.
I don't know if it was that high.
No,
but for England, his England record is ridiculous. He was just, I mean, for me, James, I'll come to you, but I know for a fact, with anyone I spoke to, whether it be my dad, my grandpa, my uncles, or anyone of that, Graham, anyone of that age and era that got to see the great man, if you ever speak to someone about Jimmy Greaves, if you ever get to speak to anyone that has witnessed him, you will see their eyes light up. The second you mention Jimmy Greaves, it's like, right, now you got my interest. Now let's talk. It's like when you just, it is just absolutely mesmerising when people of that generation start talking about him, isn't it, James?
Oh yeah. So for me, my obviously dad and stuff were Spurs fans, and that's how it kind of fell in. But my mum's side, my granddad, he's a Fulham fan, and he followed obviously Greaves, and he one of the things I remember him at young age saying, like, you have to follow Tottenham, watch Tottenham, because watch this guy, and he was a Fulham fan. So I've only still seen clips and goals. And,
look at that record.
And then 200,
look at that record.
And then,
but look at it for goals to games: 124 and 157, and 44 in 57.
So it's like another 200 goals on what he's already got at Tottenham. Realistically, like, that's nuts. Yeah. And like I said, he was probably one of the reasons my granddad pushed me into becoming a Spurs fan, even though he was a Fulham fan, due to obviously Jimmy Greaves and the way he played football.
Well, there you go. Well, listen, guys, we're going to wrap it up there, but we're going to go around the houses. James, where can people find you?
So I'm on Twitter, just James Flower, always in spaces, and Tottenham on tour.
Damn right, brother. Mr. Isaac, sir, where can people find you?
I'm going to do the Johnny.
Is it activated again now, Ryan? Is it?
Yeah, I'm back tweeting now. After a week out, and then I have to come back 4 days before the North London derby. So, yeah, I am here. Obviously, you'll find me on Tottenham on tour, my home.
Damn right. Now, you have to realise it's a bit scary that Ryan's been allowed to tweet again in the week before. He sent me this message. He goes, Twitter allowed me to tweet the week before the North London derby, and sent me a face. So yeah, could be interested on Ryan's Twitter. So go give it a like and a follow, and a subscribe and everything. Amir, where can people find you, brother?
People can always catch me on here, and when I can make it over on We Are Tottenham TV. And it'd be fantastic if people checked out my my tour guiding channel for the Holy Land for Israel. You can check me out on Israel Uncovered as well.
There you go. Well, listen, we will be back tomorrow at the same time, same place. We'll be talking a lot more Spurs Arsenal. Like I said, there will be a special show coming out this afternoon with me and Ian Meth talking all about Ange Postecoglou and how he handled the derby week, how he handled the pressure, what it meant to him, how he knew, how he understood the fans, how he normally plays, and we're going to dive deep into how he set up for the old firm. And then we'll be back tomorrow with Cockerel Doodle Doo. So everyone, thank you for joining. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, Levy out. Tottenham